Manifesto for Palestine. We, the people of Europe, from Lisbon to The Hague to Moscow, and from Helsinki to Vienna to Naples, and here in Ireland, are horrified by the genocide in Gaza. We are also shocked and saddened that in several European countries, the mainstream media has been almost silent on the atrocities being perpetrated in Gaza by the Israeli government, and that peaceful protesters have been arrested as criminals. Even in many of those countries whose mainstream media has reported the dreadful crimes being committed in Gaza, spokespeople for the Israeli government have been allowed to deliver deliberate lies, cover-ups and propaganda almost entirely unchallenged. We are appalled that snipers are deliberately shooting at children. We are appalled by images of children's bodies torn apart by bombs, of people burning, even in refugee camps defined as safe zones, and of targeted attacks on hospitals, schools, aid deliveries, and journalists. This genocide in Gaza is already the crime of the 21st century and cannot be justified by anything.
Hunger and infectious diseases threaten to wipe out almost the entire population of Gaza if occupation and blockade continue, even after a ceasefire. All trucks carrying relief supplies must be granted immediate, unencumbered and safe passage, and UN aid organisations must be allowed to carry out their work without hindrance. We demand today that this genocide end immediately. We demand that Europe carry out its responsibilities in relation to these atrocities instead of squandering its last moral capital through its inaction, through its failure to sanction Israel and its continued armed deliveries to Israel. The far too late and far too timid appeal by some 20 European governments, among others, merely calling for a ceasefire is far from sufficient as government action.
Muidne Nadina, fanamid amach on Aontas Eorpach agus rialtais an Aontas Eorpaig, comal le na páirtithe políteachta, nach bhfuil sásta an ciontach an Stát Israel a animnú agla go gcuirtear frithimítachas ina le. Measamid nach bhfuil bunús intlachtúil leis an líbhain gur bunan frithionachas agus frithimítachas. Níl ceart ag aine cosanta tiontú ina rihbhart. Níl sé ceart nó cór a bheith I de chléicteoir má bhí tú a díospartach ribhe sin. Tá cóphartachas an cinenne dhiú a chuir le cheannairí an Aontas Eorpaig agus roinnte na Báil Stáit, mar gheall an tep an cinenne dhiú a thusk. Agus é a éascú, iad ar fad cuireanna faoin gcumbhisiún maidir le seachand agus pianos an cinenne dhiú. Agus tá sé a gceiste againn go méidís freagrach as na cuireanna sin sa todhchaí. Cuireann duine le gur thug sé neamhord ar strachalta na Balestínach agus iad faoi bhuis an chait ag rialtais Israelacha I níoga chéile tharnam líonta.
We reject ethnic cleansing, expulsion, genocide and war, regardless of where and regardless of which ethnic group, nationality or religious affiliation is affected. We renew the promise incorporated in the Charter of the United Nations in 1945 after the violence of the Holocaust and the 2 world wars in the last century, here and now in harmony with many Jewish voices throughout the world. We reject walls and segregation. We call on Israel to lay down their offensive weapons, tear down the walls and the fences, open your hospitals, schools and your homes to Palestinians. You can end this war, this genocide and these atrocities now. We will no longer stand idly by and watch the war crimes, genocide, killings, injuries and trauma, illegal occupation, land theft, destruction of homes and infrastructure, destruction of olive trees and farmlands, as well as attacks by the Israeli government on other countries that are taking place before our very eyes. Israel is not above international law or the UN Charter.
Tugamid fidara agus mass a going oradóibh atá sa grúpa hága. Go gcuir an tíortha neamh-orpacha I bhain ceart na náisiún aontaithe. Tá siad a chur i gcríoch action in áit ag eisiúint shrá a cínacha. Tá barta dlachacha a bheoh éfachtach agus practicúil de dhí. Comála deire a chur do chuile sais tacaíocht don rialtas Israelach. Tacaíocht móráltacha, polítíochta, taidlóireachta, eacnamaíochta nó míleata. Ní mór deire a chur lo lárach. Chuirimid fáilte agus molamid na Israelic atá i mána góide. Ag impí an arm, deire a chur leis na coranna chugaigh agus céasa atá á dhéanamh acu. Tugann na hagadóirí féin rawa doing, mar jouler fastisú no socrí Israeli, rud atá soléir ón rátas fastistig, a chur amach na hairí Israelacha. Daim acu ile sciora agus unarva deire na nína Palestinacha, rud a thosaigh i 1948 leis an géad Nakba.
Seasamid in na lúfortíach leis na haibrithirí doga san Idal, Spáin, Súlan agus a dtíortha eile, atá ag blochá leistis arm na 100 mílte agadóirí eile ar fud na cringe a dáirdaing an glórtha le gábhlín na nús. Éilimid deire a chur de choláthar de arm Israelach lórach. Éilimid an cóimhinn tú cólachas a chur ceall idir Israel agus an taonnta Serpach, go dtí go gcuireann sé an rích gachrún na náise in Aontaithe, agus go dtí go gurfar in rích imscrúdú idirnáisiúnta ar iompar Israel in Gaza. Lena na rítear, gud a talún, ulscris na tíra, dúnmharú agus trauma, fúdú daoine, imhí a dhéanamh. Bacha chur ar chúnamh bia agus tharbhí sí banríochtnacha, chur na chugaigh agus cinenne dhéachú. Éilimid go gurfaí deire le díolacháin, bhainní chugaigh Israelacha tríthíor arpach ar bith.
We demand the resumption of all payments to UNRWA, as well as the immediate release of all hostages and political prisoners on both sides. We demand immediate withdrawal from all of Palestine by all illegal settlers and those who have stolen land from Palestinian people. We demand a right of return for Palestinian refugees to their homeland and their homes. And we demand that Jerusalem remain the capital city of Palestine and a holy city for the Palestinian people. We demand the unconditional recognition of the State of Palestine. We stand in solidarity with Palestinians and Jewish anti-Zionists around the world who advocate peaceful coexistence between peoples on the basis of UN resolutions and ICJ decisions. Lift the blockade of Gaza and the occupation of the West Bank, Jenin, southern Lebanon and Syria now.
We, the people of Europe, echo Nelson Mandela's words to the world. We know all too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the people of Palestine. Free Palestine. And with a very appropriate warning from our own Daniel O'Connell, nothing can be politically right if it's morally wrong. We, here in Ireland, have some very specific demands for our own government.
We demand that the Government of Ireland immediately enact the Occupied Territories Bill in full and, especially on this International Close the Bases Day, end the use of Shannon Airport for the carriage of soldiers, weapons, captives or hostages, and for refuelling in this and in all wars. End the use of Irish airspace in this and in all wars. Hold the Commission, the Governor and the Chief Officers of the Central Bank of Ireland guilty of complicity in genocide through the sale of Israeli bonds while Israel has been carrying out a genocide in Gaza, and further complicit in genocide in facilitating and enabling another country, Luxembourg, to sell Israeli bonds. The Central Bank of Ireland continued to facilitate the sale of these bonds through Ireland and then through Luxembourg after they had been informed that the bonds were being used to fund the military operations of the Israeli government, including genocide, and after the Taoiseach had declared Israeli actions in Gaza to be genocide. This is a clear breach of the UN Convention on the Prevention and the Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. And we demand that our government end the storage in data centres here in Ireland of any and all information or data of any kind on the people of Palestine, their leaders, groups, organisations or individuals gathered by the Israeli authorities or on their behalf through acts of online surveillance, espionage or otherwise, and ensure that no dual-purpose goods, products or services or any weapons or parts of weapons go from Ireland to Israel through any route whatsoever. Again, nothing can be politically right if it is morally wrong.
Never again must mean never again. Here in Ireland, in Palestine, or anywhere.